I guess first of all, that third quarter for you, I guess. First of all, have you ever had a double-double in a single quarter before? And second, how determined were you to kind of push Baylor to the front during that third quarter?
Answer your first question, I don't know. So that I don't know. Not to my knowledge. And then, can you say your second question again? I'm sorry.
How determined were you to kind of push Baylor in the third quarter?
Very determined. I mean, it was on scout. Like they rebound a lot, and we can't let them get rebounds because ultimately that leads to transition or just extra points. So it's always on the back of my mind. Like, hey, we can't we got to rebound. So I mean, it wasn't just something just to think about. It's kind of natural too, but like knowing like they're a good team and we can't let them get just easy possessions.
That was the first 2020 double-double since Nalissa did it a couple years ago. How cool is that to hear?
I didn't even know that, but no, that's great because she's a great player. So to have that under my belt just like her was good.
Yeah. What was the mentality just closing out the game and staying tough on defense?
Just doing my job, doing what Coach Nicki and Coach Sony is telling us to do, and just following the game plan.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know you can score points, but have you focused more on the defensive end to kind of up your game on that side of the ball?
Honestly, I've been trying to get better at defense. I had a struggle with it last year, so that's kind of been my main focus. But I wasn't scoring a lot, so I just turned it to defense.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, totally. Nothing wrong with that.
Going back to that stat about first player since Nalissa Smith, I actually I put together the list as you were nearing it. Sophia Young-Malcolm, Kalani Brown, Brittany Griner, and Nalissa Smith is the company you join. Did you know kind of you were approaching that? Like, what was the feeling when I guess you got that 20th rebound?
For one, I was just kind of rebounding. I didn't really realize until kind of the end of the game that I had about 20. I was like, well, that's a lot. But I didn't really just think about it. I'm just like, go rebound, go rebound, go rebound. And I didn't even know that they had that, not going to lie. But that's just awesome to hear. Like, those are big time players. So just to be in that company is great.
Yaya, Sarah hit some big time shots today, the buzzer beater in the first quarter. What has her just production been these past few games? What has that meant to you guys?
It's been great. We look at her as a leader, and we always want her to just have big time games. So it's great. She's coming out of her little, yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Got to start with Buggs, obviously. How important is she to kind of what this team wants to be this season, and how good was she today?
Well, she has to beg to come out of the game. I thought her only tough stretch was the second quarter when she actually asked to come out, and I thought she had a couple possessions where she just looked, didn't get back or didn't get her matched up, but I thought her ability to rebound the basketball, obviously, I thought she made great plays off the bounce, but it's just the energy plays. It's like the other team gets a miss, and then she gets the ball back, and whether she gets a putback or a foul or creates an extra possession for us, it's just that's painful as a coach. It's painful as a team when you do the work that you need to do to get the stop, and then you don't finish it. And the amazing thing about her is, it's at the top of the scouting report. I mean, it's not. It is the first thing is going to be rebounder, and we've got to keep her off the glass. And so, it's of no surprise, and she's the only one consistently going to the boards for us. And so, but I thought her defense the last few possessions on Jackson was super key. They were trying to put her in high ball screen. We had to go to that matchup because Jackson was getting to her spots against our smaller guards. And, getting to rhythm and bounce and playing off the ball screen. And I thought Buggs' length really bothered her. She really locked her up and made it tough on her. And that's the versatility. That's how much, her freshman year, boy, Bella and Buggs, their freshman year, we had to hang on at times and hope that we could get stops. And now, you know, I pulled them over 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and said, "Are you guys okay? Because I'm planning to ride you for the next 7 minutes. And so if you need a break, it's got to be now. And I'll you know, put one in, take one out." And they said they were fine. But I thought Bella's defense on Brackens, Buggs' defense late on Jackson was really key to slowing them.
You mentioned Buggs' freshman year. She actually passed her career high from her freshman year. But the names that she joins, you know, with the 20 and 20 game that she had today, Sophia Young-Malcolm, Kalani Brown, Brittany Griner, Nalissa Smith most recently, and now she joins that list. Kind of what do you think that says about her and what her legacy could stand at Baylor, just with what she brings?
Think about the list you just said, and then think about the build of the kids. Look at Kalani Brown, look at Nalissa Smith, look at Brittany Griner. You know, she's probably the most like Sophia, but Sophia a little more filled out than Buggs. I think how Buggs does it, she's just so slithery, you know, she just competes. And her freshman year, there were so many times that she'd get her hand on the ball but couldn't quite pull it in. And so you see the difference. And I know she had a big rebounding game as a freshman, but I don't remember who it was against, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't against a UNLV type team, you know. And I think her ability to do that now against what I would say, it's not that UNLV is super tall, but they're super physical. They've bothered Reagan Beers. They've bothered a lot of elite post players that they've played against this season with their lower body physicality. They do a good job being vertical in their lower body, and so I think her ability to get on the glass, you know, against kids that are more naturally physical just says something about her determination. And like, there's just no quit, you know. It's like when our team needs energy, they get to feed off of her, you know. We talked about, like, the toughest part about losing Jana was such an energy kid for us. And Buggs has to bring it, you know, because I felt like we didn't, as good as we were offensively in the first half in terms of execution, finishing, like, we didn't have a ton of energy, you know. Like, Jada didn't have a lot of energy tonight for whatever reason. She just didn't look quite like herself. She said she was fine, but I didn't feel like she was boogieing downhill, getting to her jump shot, creating shots for others. Like, she just looked a step slow to me. And that happens. Like, you're not on every night. And so Buggs just picked it up. I mean, she picked it up for everyone. And there were a lot of offensive rebounds to get in the second half because we were not making shots. And so you do what you have to do to put yourself in position to win. And I think she's just a kid that I've said from the beginning is my security blanket. I never want her off the floor. The ball moves. She makes plays. Even when she misses, like, she's, you know, like, if I were to say, like, what do I get the most frustrated by? She turns it over too much. So did Nalissa. You know, but Buggs can't be Buggs if I don't let her play in space. And sometimes she's going to get those rebounds deep, and there's going to be a lot of congestion, and she's going to fumble it out of bounds, and she's going to get a rebound and a turnover. You know, so but it's never because she's not trying to make the right play. It's not about Buggs. It's never about Buggs. It's always about Baylor.
Nettie had 18 in the first half. What were you guys doing to set her up like that to have that success?
Yeah, throw the ball inside. I mean, we were really focused on trying to play through the middle of the floor. You know, we felt like this is a team that's been really, really good at bringing congestion, bringing double teams, digging ball side, bringing doubles backside. So we really focused on either quick moves or catches in the middle where she could see the help. I thought she did a really good job of playing quickly when the ball came into her, like not holding it, looking where all of a sudden you're uncomfortable. So I thought she made really quick moves. We were able to get the ball to her on the roll some. Like, I just felt like in the first half, if we set a ball screen, we were going to have the roll. If Sarah was in the ball screen, we were going to have a layup if we would roll behind, because that's where Buggs made a living. And I thought Nettie got a couple too. Her nice drive, finish with her left hand. Like, I just thought she played really powerfully, and played the game really simply. So I thought she played really, really well at the offensive end.
Yaya got a big defensive stop there in the fourth quarter. I think she had another one in the first quarter, but she didn't score a lot today. But how improved is her defense, and how important is that to get her on the court more?
Yeah, it's much improved. I think that's, you know, sometimes what takes her off the floor. Like, I I thought we were better, and her plus minus dictates that when she was on the floor today. And a lot of that, honestly, was how they were defending us. Today, Jada, they dug in off Jada. Like, I was trying to get Bella on some post-ups, and they consistently dropped whoever was guarding Jada into the paint for extra help. So it made it a little tougher to feed, because I thought Bella had an individual mismatch all game. But they were going to sag off your 5, they were going to sag off your 4, and then they were going to sag off their 1. So it's hard to feed it in there when you got 3 people not being guarded. And though Yaya was frustrated, because she's been such a consistent scorer for us this season, I just kept challenging her that she was making us better. It's not always about, Bella has proved time and time again that it's not all about scoring, and, I thought Bella had the biggest offensive play of the game, and so when you think about, hey, she hadn't scored for a while, but late in the game when she had to make a play, she made a really, really tough play and a little glass finish. And so I thought Yaya sat down. She did a good job staying on Kimson's right hand. Like that, you have to know your scout. It's like we're trying really hard to give them the blueprint for success every game. And there's always game slippage, and you can always trust and know that there's going to be game slippage. But the more you buy into your scouting report, the more you buy into giving yourself like the chance to be ahead, the better you are, because that kid was coming back to her right, one way or the other, with a step through, with a spin, she was coming back to her right. And so I thought that was a really big play for her. The only reason I took her out at the end was because they looked like they were going to really start pressing, and I wanted a second ball handler with Sarah, because Sarah had played 1 million minutes.
You mentioned McKenna Brankins earlier. I guess just in scouting this team and looking at her, Texas champion MVP at the 3A level at Fairfield, and I guess how important was it to kind of pressure her and what she does inside the paint and from the perimeter?
Yeah, she's been really good this year. I was talking to Lindy before the game, and I asked her, I'm like, who did you beat out for her? I wasn't super aware of her. She's been one of the most efficient players in the country through 9 games, and so it was a big focus. You can, whoever Bella's guarding is I can promise you who we're worried about, because that typically is where we put our focus, and then ultimately it was Jackson with Buggs and length at the end, but. Most of Bracken's baskets were not against Bella. Like, I thought Bella did a good job of being there on the catch, of staying down on her step through. She's so good at being poised and efficient in the post and not being sped up. That the actions that they run, they do a good job, because they typically have 5 players that can shoot the 3. So you don't like bringing help if you don't have to, because they can spray it out. But she's just been really composed. She walks into those trail 3s. She doesn't make a lot of bad decisions. And so I thought Bella did a really, really good job on her in particular. Like, she got her baskets early, and then we settled in and guarded her better. But I thought a lot of those were broken transition plays, mismatched when we just didn't get to the right matchups. But she was fantastic. She's been fantastic all year.
You get a little bit of a break here, 10 days, and then one more game before Big 12 play. What do you need to clean up? Turnovers,
free
et cetera,
throws.
Free throws.
I think it's about balance. It's about it shouldn't be hard to get them to understand that every time we got into a ball screen, we were able to roll behind and get easy actions. And so there's just no reason to not run and screen in those situations. Like, it's kind of like, I'm a big believer. It's fun. I've always said this, like, no one likes a board more than me and an ATO and dialing up something, but like sometimes it's just today, it was just swing it, getting a ball screen, roll behind and 2-man action, and good things were going to happen. And they didn't give up wide open 3s. Like, they did a good job. But okay, let's go shoot layups then. Let's make our free throws, So I think in the first half we were like 85% with a paint touch. That's pretty solid offense. And so I think we got to trust when things are working, how to keep playing to them and not to be frustrated when, maybe it's not going our way. individually, but ultimately, like, hey, we're running good stuff. We're getting easy baskets. It's Nettie's turn. It's Buggs' turn. It's going to end up being Bella's turn. And then defensively, we have to be more dialed in to start games, to me. Like, we just have to, against good opponents. We can't give them the things that we know they're good at. And it was disappointing early that our transition defense was bad, because it wasn't because we were having bad turnovers, a lot of live ball turnovers. We were shooting a good percentage. We didn't get back on a free throw once, and all of a sudden we're mismatched or we give up a trail 3. I just felt like the two things we were uber focused on, transition and back cuts. And I thought early we were giving up back cuts and we were giving up transition baskets. And so once we settled in, we were better, but we shouldn't put ourselves in those situations. We shouldn't put ourselves in position where we don't know what they're doing, because they didn't do anything that we hadn't really focused on. And we'd spent hours working on, I think, guarding the back cut. But we were getting beat so bad that they didn't even have to get to our second level. Like, they were catching it before our second level and either being able to score or play around. That's how bad we were getting beat on the back cut, as opposed to being on their hip, because they'll throw you open. Their posts are really good passers off the bounce, so they'll throw their back cuts open, but have them make tough reverse layups type shots. They were getting it so early that their guards had room to boogie, and we can't do that. We have to understand what a team's good at and then take that away. Thanks.